2 long, difficult years, things are finally starting to get back to the way they used to be. But there's a new normal that you're gonna have to get used to. And that's James Roth continuing to climb the ranks and be the next most can't-miss wrestler in CWE. And I can't think of a better time than Friday, April the 1st at Rookie Sports Bar than for James Roth to become the king of Transcona and show the rest of the CWE and the wrestling world that the real deal is here to stay.
Welcome everyone to CWE Adrenaline. I'm down to my Dave Petro. Andrew Hustler Patterson will join me in mere moments, and we've got another tremendous edition of Adrenaline for you tonight. Tag team action. The Lords of the Underworld go one-on-one in a tag team match against the Collins family tradition. And as a repercussion, coming out of our 13th anniversary spectacular, the Pimp Daddy, Rick Matthews, goes one-on-one with sweet Bobby Schink.
Hey Canada, it's nice to meet you. We're Mary Brown's famous chicken and taters, started in Newfoundland almost 50 years ago. Today the secret's out, and we're coast to coast across Canada. Yep, that's our food you're drooling over. Made fresh from scratch in store. No fillers, never pre-formed or pre-breaded. Handcrafted, not machine-made. Real food from genuine people. As original as the island where it all began. Mary Brown's, honest to goodness.
We are off and running on CWE Adrenaline Tag Team Action. Dave Petro, Andrew Hustler Patterson from Winnipeg Sports Talk at ringside, and Andrew are opening things up with a big tag team match.
The Lords of the Underground.
Underworld. I called them underwear one time, and I almost got booted out of the arena.
Very interesting individuals. The masks, and of course, you can forget the head, which is now being caressed gently in the corner of the squared circle.
That's Samuel with the head. Samuel is just getting into the ring, and I tell you what, these guys are going to get a huge eruption from the crowd when they come out. The Collins family tradition. These are one of your favorites, Andrew.
Bobby and Brendan Collins, they are the talk of CWE right now. Of course, the veteran Bobby and Brendan, one of the most physically imposing human specimens we've seen in this industry in a long, long time.
They are the number one contenders for the CWE Tag Team Championship, but there's been some political maneuvering, and in 2 weeks' time, the former champs, AJ Sanchez and Kevin O'Doyle, will get a shot at the newly crowned champions, Red Hot Summer. But waiting in the wings is the Collins family tradition.
Yeah, well, of course, Kevin Cannon's trying to keep everything together. The corporation hanging by a thread. AJ Sanchez wants the rematch along with Kevin O'Doyle. But, of course, the Collins family right in the mix in that tag team.
Here we go, the Collins family tradition with a double clothesline on the Lords of the Underground, Samuel and Zamil. Zamil now getting outside the ring. That's Samuel in there with Brendan Collins, the man with the best body in all of professional wrestling, in my opinion.
He can't get out of this head that's just lying in the ring right now. Zamil forgot it. I'm surprised he doesn't take better care of his head.
Double team right now on Samuel. Double elbow. Look at the back on Brendan Collins.
It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous, and you can see all the people in attendance just jaw-dropping intensity.
The crowd actually for a moment goes silent when they come up because he's such a physical specimen, and then they realize when they see that smiling face of young Brendan, they are just 100% behind him. And look at that clothesline.
Oh, the power, Dave. The power, Samuel. That one is going to hurt.
Samuel looks like he's dropped a couple of pounds since we've seen him last time here on CWE Adrenaline. Tag has been made. The veteran, the rebel, Bobby Collins. Both men taking off Samuel. Drop toe hold. And look at the splash. Oh my goodness. Samuel thought better of getting interfering in this one.
It's been wild to see Bobby Collins. He's walking a foot taller around CWE now that Brendan is here and part of the Collins family tradition.
Absolutely. Reminds me of that Warner Brothers cartoon. What are we doing now, Spike? What are we doing now, Spike? Want to go chase some cats? Nah. Oh, look at this. Where did that come from?
Nice slam by Samuel.
And he's going outside. Very methodical in his movements. Up perhaps to the top rope. The Rebel Bobby Collins not going to let that happen. And here comes Samuel, a la Ric Flair, into the ring.
Bobby Collins, that's experience for you. He smelt his opponent going up to the top rope and quickly reversed it, and now it's Brendan time.
And here comes Emil in there. He just gets met with a clothesline. Brendan is on fire. Oh my goodness. Forearm right to the top of the head of both men. Takes it back in. Perhaps a little meeting of the minds.
Bong.
The Noggin Knocker.
Samuel has no idea where he is
No.
right now.
Oh, look at this Brendan now. Zamil just going to turn around and he's going to get it.
Oh, the spear from Brendan Collins, Dave.
Probably speared him right out of his mask almost. Tag to Dad. Here comes Bobby. Oh, look at this. Samuel preventing the Rebel Bobby Collins from getting into the ring or going up to the top. He does manage it. Brendan keeping an eye on things. Here comes the Rebel. Boom. Drops him. Hooks the leg. 1, 2, and 3.
Bobby getting the pin off the top rope.
The Collins family tradition. The winners here, right here on CWE Adrenaline. What a match. Promotional consideration paid for by the following: Popeye Supplements, 6 Winnipeg locations: Portage Avenue, Kenniston Boulevard, Narran Avenue, St. James, McPhillips, and St. Mary's.
Wrestling fans, as you can see, I am adorned with the great presence of Sweet Bobby Schink, the tallest guy around the ringside. Bobby Schink, you've got a main event match on Adrenaline coming up. Pimp Daddy Rick Matthews, he cost you the opportunity for victory in that 4-way match on the 13th anniversary Internet pay-per-view.
You got that right, Marty. He cost me the winner's purse. That mother effing Pimp Daddy. Well, I don't know what you heard about me, Rick Matthews, but I'm a sweet guy, Marty.
That's the rumor, yes.
And when he hit me with that pin cane, I felt a little something. A little bit of anger. A little bit of hate. Yeah, oh yeah. You ever seen Sweet Bobby get a little angry, huh? Well, tonight, in the main event, you're going to see a side of Sweet Bobby that you've never seen before.
Action coming up. Rick Matthews, Pimp Daddy's got a lot of experience. We're going to see what happens with the determination of Sweet Bobby Schink in that match. That showdown coming here on Adrenaline. More action right after this.
After a long, long time, the CWE returns to the heart of Transcona at Rookie Sports Bar.
It's been way too long, Petro, and we'll be crowning the king of Transcona.
Go to CWECanada.ca and our Facebook page for how you can be part of that exciting event, April the 1st at Rookie Sports Bar.
That's no fool.
The opening event on the 13th anniversary spectacular was It was a great match, but it was marred somewhat by the actions of these two, the degenerates. Before the match even started, you put the beats on Age of Aquarius, Daniels Holiday, unable to compete in that #1 contendership match. I don't understand why. Why did you do that?
Why do you think? Why do you think?
Tell me, Tyler
I'm
James.
telling you right now, those kids had no business being in our match. This is our moment. This is our time. And I've told many people before, we are following our path en route to destiny of the CWE Tag Team Championships. Tell him, Dragneil.
That's right. Everyone thinks they're a tough guy until they run into some actual tough guys. Okay? These kids think they're in for a battle. We're coming out with a war because we want the CWE Tag Team Championships and we want the money that comes with it. And nothing's gonna stop us.
I'm just. Boy.
Oh, that's why you did it.
Oh. You guys talk a big game.
20 years ago.
Oh, really?
You really want to do that? Let's do this. Oh, come on. Come on. Break it up. 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 Come on.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following: Popeye Supplements, 6 Winnipeg locations: Portage Avenue, Kenniston Boulevard, Narran Avenue, St. James, McPhillips, and St. Mary's. Mary Brown's Chicken with 14 Manitoba locations.
It's been too quiet around here. There's a huge void. We're really excited. I can't wait to hear. I can't believe it. Thank you for the support, and let's go.
Look who it is.
Good to be on with you guys.
The first thing I'm thinking is like Summer of Jack Daniels.
There'd have been a whole lot of people not going to work the next day.
I was just trying to enjoy a beautiful day in Winnipeg.
Nice new format you got going. I'm loving that background in the back.
Well, thank you for having me.
Next week on CWE Adrenaline, a match that's been weeks in the making. The fabulous Freebird, Kevy Chevy, challenges the former 123 Approved.ca hardcore champion, Easy Rider. Also in action, Dragneil goes one-on-one with Josh Cheeks Holiday. All that next week on Adrenaline. One of the most colorful men in all of the CWE, the Pimp Daddy, Rick Matthews, makes his way to the ring. Hustler.
The Pimp Daddy, colorful, flamboyant. You cannot. A whole many descriptions for Rick Matthews, but that is an experienced veteran coming in with a lot of swagger.
And that trusty cane that he used as a weapon at our 13th anniversary show on Sweet Bobby Schink. And Bobby Schink basically demanding a match with the Pimp Daddy as a result of that treachery.
Yeah, Sweet Bobby basically got his head caved in by that pimp cane, and he has some unfinished business stepping to the ring. All 6'8", 6'9" of him tonight. This should be a good one, Dave.
Has Dr. Marty helping him with his ring attire. I tell you what, this guy has been around a long, long time, and always been on the bad side of the law. is, let's just say that, the wrong side of the tracks, but very charismatic.
He's got some fans here.
He does.
Some of them, but those fans do not include Sweet Bobby Schink after what happened in that four-way.
And here comes the big man right now. You're right about the Pimp Daddy. There's a couple of girls that are maybe that might go work for him in the crowd a little bit later on. There's one of them right now. Here's Sweet Bobby Schink, and he's not going to work for the Pimp Daddy. He, of course, demanded this match coming out of the 13th anniversary. And is that the maple syrup again? He loves that maple syrup. Sweet Bobby Schink.
Well, you can say he got that tip from is it Leilani Fernandez at one of the Grand Slam tennis majors? Her and Felix Auger did the maple syrup shots to take them to the top. Maybe that's what Bobby's thinking going into tonight.
I'd be thinking maybe Butter Ripple might be a little bit better. Big Bobby, sorry, Sweet Bobby Schink, the man with the syrup, against the Pimp Daddy, Rick Matthews. Right here, our main event here on CWE Adrenaline.
This is going to be a heck of a match. We haven't seen a lot of the Pimp Daddy as of late outside of that four-way match. But Sweet Bobby Schink has become a mainstay here and around Canada. I can't wait for the bell and to get this one on, Dave.
Next week on here on CWE Adrenaline, we've seen the last couple of weeks the heat between the fabulous Creeper Kevy Chevy and Easy Rider. That's going to come to a fruition as both men go one-on-one next week here on CWE Adrenaline. But the matter at hand, and here comes Sweet Bobby Schink. He's not wasting any time, Hustler.
No, that is for the Pimp cane to the head. But hey, the Pimp Daddy right back on top of him.
Both men, tremendous experience. Got to give the nod to Rick Matthews, a little bit more experience with big, sweet Bobby Schink. These guys are just giving it to each other.
Serious blows from both wrestlers so far, Dave.
This kind of reminds me of Burton and Stardom we saw a couple of weeks ago.
I was just about to say, I mean, just throwing haymakers at each other.
Up, and that's a long way to go. Sweet Bobby Schink is a very tall man.
Pimp Daddy went from the top floor.
A couple of big elbows. Schink now delivering them to the Pimp Daddy. 3 in a row. And now 4th. And he says to the crowd, one more?
Why not?
Off the ropes. Boom!
With a little extra mustard on it.
Syrup. Maybe a little extra maple syrup.
Good point, Dave.
Couple of big boots now. Sweet Bobby Schink. Takes some. Says, what? Looks to the crowd. You want to give one? Yikes! Ouch! Knife edge chop.
The torque that you get when you're that tall on those chops and smacks is otherworldly.
Goodness. Another big chop right to the chest of Rick Matthews, the Pimp Daddy. And he's right on top of him. And that is something, you know, Bobby Schink doesn't have the experience of the Pimp Daddy, Rick Matthews, but one of the things that really makes you just a notch level in professional wrestling is staying on your opponent. And Bobby Schink is doing that right now and comes up and just plants the Pimp Daddy.
Well, I think so much of the aggressiveness that we're seeing in this game comes as a result of him getting his head caved in by that pimp stick from Matthews the last time these guys met each other.
I got to tell you, when Bobby Schink first broke in, he was pretty arrogant. Man, the fans love him, and he just tosses out the Pimp Daddy, and I don't think that's intentional to toss him over the top rope, which in many federations that's a disqualification. But look how tall Bobby Schink is.
Well, you know what? Bobby Schink is such an incredible combination of size, strength, and athleticism. I mean, he does moves that, frankly, no man that tall should be able to do. And he's just taking another shot of syrup.
Another shot of syrup. I've been at the end of a toss over the top rope by Bobby Schink. It's not very pleasant. Ask Dr. Marty about that sometime.
I will not be signing up for that. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. It's all Bobby Schink right now. A couple of big boots right to the side of the head. Hooks the leg, gets a 2 count. Picks him up again. Oh, and hammers him down. Hard forearm to the back of the Pimp Daddy, Rick Matthews. Sweet Bobby Schink in control.
Absolutely. Matthews just trying to get his bearings and get back into this match right now because the skyscraper himself in complete control right here on CWE Adrenaline.
Just basically now having his way with the Pimp Daddy. He comes back. He's coming back at him hard. Pimp Daddy steps out of the way. Oh my goodness! You might have to see a dentist after that. Look at that maneuver.
Heck of a move by Pimp.
Comes back and chops down the arm and gets a bit of that small of the back in there. Now the Pimp Daddy in control. Is he taping some of that wrist tape? Oh, he's choking him right in front of the referee. No regard for the rules.
Referee, what?
Right in front of the referee.
The giving up level is low on Pimp Daddy. He's out for he's all business right now.
So what for trying to be sneaky? I guess when you dress like that, you're not sneaky.
You know, people know what they're expecting when Pimp Daddy Rick Matthews gets in the ring.
Oh, headbutt.
Couple of big junkyard dog in him.
Absolutely. Grab them cakes. Couple of big elbows. Where is this coming from? Where is this offense coming from? Rick Matthews, he didn't have a shot at syrup.
Complete turnaround in this match, and it is all Matthews right now. Bobby Schink better be careful that he doesn't reach for the cane.
He's going to hit him up for a suplex. That's a big man. His feet almost touch the ceiling, and Matthews delivers a huge suplex.
That was incredible. I mean, I don't know how high that was from the top of Bobby Shink's feet to the floor, but we're talking a good 13 feet.
I've covered matches with Bobby Schink putting out ceiling tiles and lights because he's so darn tall, and just a bit of a comeback thwarted by the Pimp Daddy, and comes back. Oh, hard right hands, two men duking it out right in the middle of the ring. Bobby Schink now gains the advantage. Irish whip. Oh my goodness! Size 16 right to the head, and he goes low, and he comes back and just cuts him down to size.
That's got to be one of the biggest boots in all of professional wrestling. Wow!
Hooks the leg. 1, 2. Oh! Rick Matthews able to kick out at the count of 2. Bobby Schink now drawing on the support of this tremendous crowd. Up, fireman's carry. Matthews slips out, gets a fireman's carry of his own, and then takes him back. And oh my goodness! Wow, Matthews out of nowhere. 1, 2. Kick out by sweet Bobby Schink.
That was close, Dave. I wasn't sure he was going to be able to get up from that.
Schink now. Oh, he grabs the cane. Now, the referee has seen a little leeway with that choke and admonished him for that. He says, nuh-uh, you're not using the cane. He grabs that cane back. Oh, he tries to use it. Thwarted by sweet Bobby Schink. And Bobby, you'll get disqualified. He knows that. He turns around. Choke slam. Boom. 1, 2, and 3. Your winner. With some maple syrup all over the ring. Sweet Bobby Schink.
That had to be a 10-foot drop on that choke slam.
Oh my goodness. On behalf of Dr. Marty and Andrew Hustler Patterson, Dave Petro saying good night from CWE Adrenaline.